see that.
At Wayfair.com, we think that when the big stuff ships free, it's just better.
Cover better, brunch better, crunch better, rock better, roll better, whoa better, dream better, clean better, yeah, better!
Oh, Wayfair has free shipping. Game changer.
Fast better, free better, everything's better when
Get
it's
free shipping on orders over $49. Shop better at Wayfair.com.
Wayfair, you've got just what I need.
The special counsel's report is out. Conspiring with the Kremlin to win the White House? No. Obstruction of justice? Unresolved. The Mueller report. A turning point. Monday.
AI unlocks the art of science.
When you open a bottle of beer, I don't think many people actually know the level of science that's filled into that bottle. Back in time, it took Carlsberg several years to produce a new beer. But using Microsoft Artificial Intelligence, we will be able to detect new flavors in a split second and develop better beers faster.
With AI, we redefine what's possible.
So cheers!
A retinol that also hydrates your skin? It's the best of both worlds. Rock Retinol Max Hydration Cream visibly reduces fine lines while deeply hydrating your skin. Retinol Max Hydration Cream from Rock.
I've never seen that before.
The Mueller Report, a turning point. Monday, only CBS.
Ah, boating. Tundra. A little R&R. Camry.
Wow, she's good.
Off-roading. Forerunner. Treasure hunting. Highlander mateys.
Thanks.
Wherever you want to go, we've got a great deal on a Toyota to get you there.
Right now, you can get 1.9% APR financing for 60 months on a new 2019 Camry, or get $500 customer cash on a new Camry. Hurry in today.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today.
Toyota, let's go places.
For years, I thought I was lactose intolerant. Turns out I was just sensitive to a protein commonly found in milk. Now with A2 milk, I can finally enjoy cereal again.
It's delicious like real milk, because it is real milk.
A2 milk is real milk from real cows that produce only the A2 protein.
I love milk. I'm so happy I found it. A2 milk. Real milk that's easier on digestion. Love milk again.
For top quality floors at rock bottom prices, come to Floor & Decor.
The largest tile and wood place I've ever seen in my life.
It's every color, it's every style.
It's a one-stop shop. We got exactly what we wanted, and we paid the price that we were looking for.
Why wouldn't you want to save money and make your house look great?
The Design Center is total inspiration.
These guys know their stuff.
Hands down, the best place for floors, no question.
Floor & Decor. Visit our newest location in Gurnee.
All right, Single, you have 10 seconds to explain the 30-second song challenge. Otherwise, I hit you in the head with this basketball. Go.
No problem. Weekday mornings at 7:30 on 97.1 FM The Drive. You have to give us the names of 7 classic rock songs in 30 seconds. Boom.
Come on, man, really?
A child's birthday shattered by cops raiding the wrong home. Monday at 10.
Wednesday, from LeBron James comes the biggest reality competition to ever hit the streets. To win, run a mile. But you'll be chased by an elite athlete.
Sounds like my kind of game.
$1 Million Mile premieres CBS Wednesday after Survivor.
Raccoon.
Rakuten. Rakuten.
Rakuten? Oh! Is this my money? Rakuten. Rakuten.
I was on the fence about changing from a manual to an electric toothbrush, but my hygienist said going electric could lead to way cleaner teeth. She said get the one inspired by dentists, with the round brush head.
Go pro with Oral-B. Oral-B's gentle rounded brush head removes more plaque along the gum line for cleaner teeth and healthier gums. And unlike Sonicare, Oral-B is the first electric toothbrush brand accepted by the ADA for its effectiveness and safety.
What an amazing clean. I'll only use an Oral-B.
Oral-B. Brush like a pro.
Parents have a way of imagining the worst, especially when your easily distracted teenager has the car. At Subaru, we're taking on distracted driving with sensors that alert you when your eyes are off the road. The all-new Subaru Forester. The safest Forester ever.
From LeBron James.
Victory's only a mile away.
$1 Million Mile premieres Wednesday.
Another wrong raid, this time at a child's birthday.
They was just like this.
You thought the police were going to shoot you?
Shoot me and my brother and everybody else.
CBS 2 investigator Dave Savini wants to know why this keeps happening. Monday at 10. An historic race for mayor, tackling the issues that matter.
I have a vision for the city of Chicago. Those are the issues that I think people most care about.
The final televised debate, Wednesday at 6. Simulcast on WVON Radio and televised only on CBS 2.
There's a place where speed bumps don't exist, and donuts are served fresh every morning. Welcome to Muscleville, a Dodge owner's paradise. The only dating is speed dating. The mayor is this guy, and the town square is a straightaway. Head to Muscleville, where every day is a performance day. Financing at $2,500 cash allowance plus $1,000 bonus cash on the 2018 Dodge Durango.
I never thought I would let anything get in the way of me and my career until I got varicose veins. But then I called Midwest Vein Center. Their new non-thermal vein ablation procedure was quick and painless. Just call 888-450-VEIN. What's holding you back?
You know those couples who talk the whole meal? They didn't order the double and cheese steak burger with fries, a second side, and a cookie. But you did. 4 meals, 4 items, $4. 444. Get more for 4.
4 Seasons. For all the right reasons. Call 866-4Seasons.
Basketball madness is spreading and it's hitting the neighborhood hard.
Look, Dad, Mr. Calvert on TV.
An all-new episode. Then,
I'm a vegan.
bonding with a teenage daughter can be challenging.
I eat food you have to hunt.
It's a cow, Adam.
I didn't say it was hard.
New man with a plan. After a new The Neighborhood. CBS Monday.
Tonight on CBS 2, Illinois politicians debating what's inside the Mueller report. The president says he's exonerated, why some are skeptical.
This week, Colbert's All New with Charles Barkley, plus Monday, Senator Elizabeth Warren.
In the wake of a crisis,
he lied to my face.
She'll make a high-stakes gamble.
You are overplaying your hand. Try me.
New Madam Secretary, CBS next Sunday.
We're stuck in the middle of the ocean. It's higher than you're losing blood. I'm chumming the water. Again!
New Magnum PI, Monday on CBS.
That rocking chair would look great in our new house.
Oh, a new house, eh? Well, you should definitely see how Geico could help you save on homeowners insurance.
Nice tip. I'll give you $2 for the chair.
2? That's a Victorian antique.
All right. How much for the recliner, then?
Wait. How did that get out here? That is definitely not for sale.
Is this a yard sale?
If it's in the yard, then it's for sale.
Here we go.
Geico. It's easy to switch and save on homeowners and renters insurance.
Live from the CBS 2 Broadcast Center in Chicago, this is CBS 2 News at 10.
It was a complete and total exoneration. What's inside the Mueller report? The Attorney General sums it up for us, but some are still skeptical. Friends and family prepare to say goodbye to Officer John Rivera.
He had a whole life ahead of him.
Tonight, CBS 2 has learned investigators are making progress in the search for his killer. And R. Kelly asked for permission to play shows in Dubai. What do officials in Dubai have to say about that? Good evening, I'm Jim Williams. Tonight, Illinois politicians are debating what should happen next now that the Attorney General has said that Robert Mueller found no evidence President Trump or his aides colluded with Russia. CBS 2's Jeremy Ross has a reaction from Democrats and Republicans. Jeremy?
Jim, one lawmaker calling today an important moment in modern American politics. Depending on your political perspective, this day is either one of relief or the start of more scrutiny.
There was no collusion with Russia. There was no obstruction and none whatsoever. And it was a complete and total exoneration.
The president declaring victory, his critics and Democrats like Illinois Representative Jan Schakowsky declaring anything but a win for the commander-in-chief.
In fact, the very words that he was not exonerated are in the report.
In a letter to the House and Senate Judiciary Committees, Attorney General William Barr summarized the results of Robert Mueller's investigation. The special counsel's investigation did not find the Trump campaign or anyone associated with it conspired or coordinated with Russia in its efforts to influence the 2016 U.S. presidential election. Barr's letter added, despite multiple efforts from Russian-affiliated individuals to assist the Trump campaign. On the question of whether the president obstructed justice, Barr said the special counsel stated, while this report does not conclude that the president committed a crime, it also does not exonerate him. Special counsel's office issued more than 2,800 subpoenas, executed nearly 500 search warrants, and interviewed approximately 500 witnesses. It charged 34 people and 3 companies. The summary of 22 months of work condensed into 4 pages, with Democrats eager to see details, adding,
"This may not be indictable, does not mean that there's no wrongdoing here. And so we're going to scrutinize all of the information.
Republican Representative Darren LaHood from Peoria taking to social media to say Mueller's report found no evidence of criminal activity or intent on behalf of President Trump or his campaign. With the report finally completed, it is now time for the Democrats in the country to move on. Fellow Republican Representative Adam Kinzinger, representing areas west and south of Chicago, adding the special counsel's report is good news. It's good for our democracy and the integrity of our elections. Schakowsky describing it differently for the president's future.
I think this is probably the best day that the president has had, is having going forward. I think it's only going to get worse as we get the documents.
Schakowsky believes the details that Democrats are looking for will become available in the hours and days ahead. Live in the newsroom, Jeremy Ross, CBS 2 News. Jim.
Thank you, Jeremy. To read the Attorney General's full summary of the Mueller report, go to our website, cbschicago.com. Now to a developing story. Chicago police are talking to 3 people in connection with the shooting death of off-duty police officer John Rivera. The 23-year-old officer was killed early Saturday morning outside a River North bar. Tonight, dozens paid their respects. Flashing blue lights led the way tonight as colleagues, strangers, and officers stood in the rain to honor Officer Rivera. His body was taken to the funeral home early tonight. Hours before, CBS 2's Eric Cox spoke to one of Rivera's closest college friends.
But when he smiled, he glowed.
That glow now gone.
He had a whole life ahead of him.
Jennifer Navarro tells CBS 2 she and 23-year-old Chicago police officer John Rivera first became friends while attending Harold Washington College.
He was taking some music classes.
The two of them sharing a lot of great times together.
We used to love going to this karaoke bar in Chinatown called Number 18. That was our spot.
So when she heard about Officer Rivera's death early Saturday morning,
part of my heart literally just, I felt like it was taken away.
Police say Officer Rivera was a part of the force for 22 months. Footage from a murder scene at 84th and Sangamon Friday showcasing one of the final times Rivera would wear the uniform.
We'll never see him again.
The 23-year-old's uncle is retired CPD Chief of Internal Affairs Juan Rivera. The rookie cop grew up in Chicago's Hegewisch neighborhood on the city's far south side. Rivera attended Mount Carmel before transferring to Brother Rice, where he graduated in 2013. Brother Rice's administration saying, quote, "We express our deepest condolences to his family. John is remembered as a nice, polite, and soft-spoken young man."
John's a sweetheart. He's an angel. Like, why would someone just want to take his life away like that?
CPD's assigned 12 detectives to this case. Officers believe Rivera's death the end result of a mistaken identity.
2 people sighted, Huron and Clark.
A gunman approaching his car, opening fire in River North.
And you don't know who's next, you know? Your friend, your cousin, your neighbor, your mom, whoever. It's just unfair.
In Hegewisch, Eric Cox, CBS 2 News.
Services for Officer Rivera begin Thursday with visitation. That's from 3 to 9 p.m. at Elwood Chapel. The next day, the funeral mass will be held at the Church of Annunciata at 10 in the morning. Detectives hope CTA surveillance cameras will help them catch a group of robbers who beat a passenger on a Red Line train overnight. Police say the 42-year-old man was riding near the Belmont stop around 2:30 this morning. When the victim encountered a group of noisy people and asked them to move, they started punching and kicking him. One of the robbers pulled out a knife and demanded his possessions. The victim suffered bruises and cuts to his face. And police are warning people to watch their cell phones when dining out after a string of thefts downtown. At least 7 incidents have been reported in the past couple of weeks. In each case, the suspect targets people who leave phones on the table, claims to be collecting money for charity, then distracts the victim with flyers to steal their cell phones. Despite a legal request by R. Kelly to travel to Dubai, officials say the singer has no scheduled concerts in the country. Last week, Kelly's attorneys filed paperwork requesting permission to leave the country, claiming he had plans to perform before his arrest on sex abuse charges. Kelly was ordered to turn over his passport as a condition of his release, but said he hoped to raise money for outstanding child support payments. Today, a spokesperson for Dubai's media office said there were no requests for performances and no venues booked. A spokesperson also denied a claim by Kelly's attorney that the singer had plans to meet Dubai's royal family. We're 9 days away from the Chicago mayoral election, and Sunday was no rest for the two candidates. Toni Preckwinkle spent the morning attending services at the City Church of Chicago. She later met with voters at a housing development in Rogers Park.
Let's give it up for Lori.
Lori Lightfoot tried to energize volunteers at a Get Out the Vote rally this afternoon at Equality, Illinois. She also courted Latino voters at an afternoon rally where she appeared with former rival Susana Mendoza. Meantime, Lightfoot called on her challenger to denounce controversial remarks made at a Preckwinkle rally yesterday. Congressman Bobby Rush reportedly suggested more black people would be killed by police if Lightfoot is elected. Lightfoot said there is no room in the campaign for what she called hate-filled rhetoric. Watch the candidates in their final debate. They'll outline their key issues and priorities for the city right here on CBS 2. That's on Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Rob, the rain is finally moving on.
Yeah, we're getting rid of this system. It's going to be moving out, and we're going to see some changes move our way. Clearing skies for sure. That'll happen overnight so that by tomorrow you're going to be dealing with some sunshine. Most of this is moving on, but unfortunately, while the clouds move out, the cold air is moving in. It's moving in from the north for the most part. You can see those darker blues. That's where we do have temperatures currently into the mid-30s, the 40s that we had today, and even the 50s. Well, those are getting pushed farther and farther to the south, and we'll see that cooler air move in overnight. So the next 12 hours, it's holding the temperatures steady until those clouds move out. Then it's a drop in the numbers as we clear things out. We'll start in the low 30s for tomorrow. I think 30 is a nice round number as that rain wraps up. And then tomorrow, this is all we get. 30s for most of the day, but at least we get the sunshine. But it's all uphill from there, Jim. I'm going to show you the 7-day forecast where the numbers are moving up.
Thank you, Rob. Remember, you can always track the weather with the CBS Chicago Weather app, downloaded now from the App Store or Google Play. Now that they're safely back on dry land, passengers rescued from a stranded cruise ship are telling us what it was really like.
It was a very dangerous situation, frankly.
How engine failure created a nightmare. Plus, top seed Duke barely escapes a major upset bid by Central Florida in the second round of the NCAA tournament as the game comes down to the final seconds.
Another wrong raid, this time at a child's birthday.
They was just like this.
You thought the police were going to shoot you?
Shoot me and my brother and everybody else.
CBS 2 investigator Dave Savini wants to know why this keeps happening. Monday at 10.
In every Honda is the soul of a race car, and at the Honda Dream Garage Spring event, you can take some of it home. With a Honda CR-V, pretty cool, or a Honda HR-V. And they each come with sport mode. Speaking of something with a kick, I could really use an espresso. Guess it only works on cars.
Get a great deal on a Honda CR-V, awarded the 2019 Best SUV Brand by U.S. News & World Report at the Honda Dream Garage Spring event.
Get new floors you'll love with Luna's new $99 sale. Buy one room, get carpet, hardwood, or laminate for all other rooms for only $99. So buy one room, get carpet in the bedroom, plus laminate in the kitchen, and even hardwood in the dining room, all for $99. That's new floors for the whole house. Buy one room, get floors for all other rooms for only $99. Don't miss Luna's $99 sale. 773-202 Luna.
Flanked by tugboats, the Viking Sky cruise ship limped back to shore after a mayday call and passenger rescues. Chairs slid across the room as tiles came crashing down from the ceiling of the Viking Sky. Nothing is more frightening than seeing this, water spilling at your feet. Some 1,300 passengers and crew were on board when the ship's engine failed. Wind gusts and waves were more than 26 feet high off the western coast of Norway. Helicopters were called in to rescue the passengers.
Furniture would slide across the room, slide back, and with it came people and glass. It was a very dangerous situation, frankly. A few people got hurt.
Police say 17 people were hospitalized with injuries. The Viking Sky was on a 12-day trip that began March 14th in Bergen, Norway. The grounding of Chicago-based Boeing 737 MAX jets is forcing American Airlines to cancel 90 flights a day. Much of the airline's MAX fleet has been parked in Tulsa, Oklahoma since the grounding. American initially scraped flights through March 28th, but now has canceled flights for another month. Carriers around the world grounded the jetliner over safety and training concerns after 2 deadly plane crashes within 6 months. The initial investigation is focusing on a safety feature that may have forced both planes into a nosedive. She wanted to help babies struggling just to live, so she found a way to use her talent for comfort. Now she's hooked.
I can't unstitch myself, so to speak, from being the stuffed love girl.
Meet the college students sewing love one stitch at a time. Here's a live look outside. The rain, it's on its way out, but what's behind it? Robb Ellis has your Monday forecast.
Tricked by a pastor.
The word pastor just seems to say everything's all right.
Dorothy Tucker uncovers how a man with a shady past practically stole someone's home.
Definitely was not a man of his word.
New Monday morning.
And now's the time you've been waiting for. The undisputed champs, Tundra and Tacoma. And in this corner, the reigning rulers of the road. Oh, let's get ready for spring.
Not bad.
Ready for a great deal?
Let's do it!
So good.
Right now, get $2,000 customer cash on a sporty new 2019 Corolla. Hurry in today or visit buyatoyota.com for more great deals.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today.
Toyota, let's go places.
Time and Temp on CBS 2 is sponsored by Advocate Healthcare. Let's make more of life's special moments. Together, let's make healthy happen.
We switched.
I switched to Chevy.
I switched to Chevy.
We switched to Chevy.
I switched from a Ram to a Chevy.
See why people are switching to Chevy.
We love our Chevy. Why do we switch? Just look at it.
Get 14% below MSRP on most Malibu models. That's almost $4,800 on this Malibu. Plus, current competitive owners get an additional 5% below MSRP.
Have you ever experienced a real butter burger? We slather on farm fresh Wisconsin butter. It's true. Too much of a good thing is just wonderful. The Wisconsin Butter Steak Burger, only at Steak and Shake.
Darvin, Chicagoland's largest furniture and mattress store.
When it comes to good deeds, she's got it all sewn up. CBS 2's Vince Gerasoli introduces us to a young woman with plenty of heart.
There's no arguing that Saradinia has touched a lot of hearts.
When I first started out, I didn't realize how big of a part of my life this would be.
12,000 and counting.
All hand stitched. We've never used a sewing machine.
Each small heart-shaped pillow intended for a child coping with congenital heart disease.
This is something that the children can hold after surgery. We've got pictures of like the hearts propping up IV tubes or like the babies using as a pillow.
For the Northwestern senior, often working from her dorm, this all started as an 8th grade class project in Oak Lawn.
8 years of practice has definitely helped.
Stuffed Love is now a registered charity. At stitching events, she'll gather from 10 to 300 people to make hearts. Along the way, with needle and thread, she's sewn together the fabric of her life.
It's something that like developed into really being part of my identity as a person. Like, I can't unstitch myself, so to speak, from being the stuffed love girl.
And with parents and patients often reaching back, she's discovered the common threads that bind them together.
I never thought I would get a Facebook message out of the blue saying, I wanted to forget this experience of pain, and seeing your heart made me remember everything that I conquered. That's something that just blows me away every time.
It's a touching pattern that has her planning a career as a doctor.
How am I doing here?
You can use some more practice, but it definitely looks good.
You are very diplomatic.
Thank you.
Well, let's make a couple hundred more.
In Evanston, Vince Girasoli, CBS 2 News.
It is the first official weekend of spring and the kickoff to the Chicago running season.
And we are underway.
Thousands of runners, walkers, and wheelchair racers took off in the Bank of America Shamrock Shuffle early this morning. The 8K race typically attracts racers who are not necessarily in training for the marathon. Kevin Havel placed first in the men's division at 23 minutes, 38 seconds. In the women's division, Rosie Edwards was first at 27 minutes and 1 second. Pretty good day to run.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, the weather wasn't so bad. Temperatures probably where the runners were hoping it would be. A little rainy and drizzly out there, although that did hold off until later in the day. Now the temperatures are starting to cool back down as that colder air rushes in, and it's all because of this. That north wind has kicked in. We knew it was going to happen, northeast winds, and that's going to make a pretty breezy overnight and into early morning. The clouds are with us for now, but that's going to be moving out. Let's talk about that. The wind gusts still anywhere from 20 to 30 miles per hour, but it's really moving these clouds out of here that we're going to see over the next, I'd say, 12 hours or so. It'll probably take it a good 12 hours before we see this exit the entire area, although areas to the north are going to clear out a little bit faster. Still a little spotty drizzle here and there. Don't be surprised if you still have some raindrops coming down, especially into northwest Indiana where it's a little bit heavier. But here's the leading edge of the clearing. You can almost make out the front that's trying to push through, and it's going to eventually get rid of this entire system. By the way, they've had some severe weather farther to the south. A little bit warmer there. We still have the cooler air in place. Kind of blocks that severe weather chance for us, at least for the next couple of weeks or so, as the temperatures are slowly warming up. Our severe weather season arriving a little bit later. There you see the system trying to exit. Now, I stopped it here at 8 a.m. I think you'll have a few clouds left in the morning, but after that, I'm just going to let Futurecast run because then it just keeps going. There's nothing but clear sky we're expecting for the next couple of days. There may be a couple of clouds that try to roll through, but you see no major systems moving our way. At least through Wednesday, it looks like that sunshine will help to warm us up. So we start with 30 overnight. We showed you that earlier as the rain wraps up, but you see the sunshine here really helping to try to warm the temperatures up. The problem is that north wind that continues and really just keeps us into the 30s for most of the day, although I think we could be able to get into the low 40s. It really is going to depend on how close you are to the lake. Notice a little bit of lake influence here, some cooler colors and cooler temperatures. That's a little bit of lake influence as long as we have that north or northeast wind. That'll likely continue for us until at least about tomorrow afternoon or so. The winds will let up just a bit, maybe keeping you a little bit warmer into the early morning hours, into the low 30s, while other locations dip down into the 20s. You'll see a little bit of influence as we go into Tuesday afternoon, but really that's all there is to talk about because it's a quiet forecast. A lot of sunshine for both days as the temperatures start to warm up. Once we change this wind direction, though, once we get this to move out of the south, which will happen a little bit later in the week, these numbers are going to go through the roof. Now, keep in mind, the average high is 50 degrees, but this is pretty typical of when we get into late March, where you start out 10 degrees cooler than that, then you go 10 degrees warmer than that, then you go back down to 10 degrees cooler than that. The average is really just a wide variety of temperatures here, and we tend to do that at the end of the March month, where we bounce back and forth. 60 degrees for Thursday. That will come with a chance for some scattered showers and even the possibility of some thunderstorms as we end the week. That sets us up for a cooler weekend next week. Next weekend, I should say, although we do expect to clear things out just a bit after those rain showers and storms roll on by.
All right. Thank you, Rob.